There are some hidden dangers of coin collecting that you need to know about before you get into the hobby. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Empire Precious Metals. Thanks so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, make sure you blast that subscribe button and get that bell notification clicked. That way you get updated with any new content. Today I wanted to talk to you about something that I have been getting requests for a while now, and I think that this is an important topic because there are a couple of things that are happening right now in the coin collecting hobby and stacking that are going to affect many people. I've got my notes here. I've got 4 main points that I want to talk to you about. Series that end abruptly. What do I mean by that? I'm going to share with you my screen. There are a few silver coin series that have been out for a handful of years and that they have just randomly and abruptly ended with no reason at all in sight. Let me just share my screen with you and let me pop on here. How you guys doing? All right, so the first thing, I'll get to this in a minute. First thing I'm going to share with you for an example are the Street Fighter, I'm looking at 2 different cameras, Street Fighter coins. We've got Street Fighter 2. Those of you that grew up in the 90s, 80s, 90s, you love Street Fighter. And they announced these coins. Here was the first in the series, Ryu. And then the second in the series was Chun-Li. And if you look at the series years, 2022, Chun-Li, 2022. And the series ended. No explanation whatsoever from the mint. Nobody knows as to why this happened. And when something like that happens with the series, because if you know anything about the Street Fighter franchise, there's a robust roster of characters that people love, at least 8 core characters with a whole bunch of others as other video games released. But the problem with this is the fact that you get people excited for this series, right? You got Ryu, you got Chun-Li. Okay, you pushed out 2 of these coins in 2022, so people are expecting a couple per year, and then nothing. No explanation. What does that do? That kills the value, because essentially people that want to buy this series or collect this series are going to see that there's only 2 and it's kind of pointless, and they're just not going to buy these coins because what purpose do they serve unless you like these 2 particular characters? But it tanks the value of the series, in my opinion. Another example, Marvel. All right, so here's the Marvel series. And you've got 9 of these. And what happened here was there was a mint known as Crown Mint. Crown Mint was the small mint that was working with Marvel, had licensing rights to these Marvel characters. Perth Mint ended up actually stamping these coins out. There were only 9 of these coins that were made, and then the series stopped. I'm pretty sure Venom was the last in the series. Spider-Man was the first. These coins were quite popular. They started to die down. Usually you'll see some hype around these coins when you have a Marvel movie dropping. But what ends up happening is the value of these coins drop. Right now you see that this person has the bidding starting at 420. 420 divided by 9. You're looking at around, $45, $46 per coin, which actually isn't bad because for a while Spider-Man was going for about $1.50 by himself, and you had some of these others going for around $80. Like Captain America, Iron Man, they were going for quite a bit. But once the series died, the hype died down, you had a lot of people that weren't really interested, and people moved on, and that was the end of those. And let me show you another example that I have to talk to you about, and that is, I'm just looking here, yeah, this right here. This is something that is still pretty cool. I actually have these, but this is something this was an odd situation. So what you got here, in fact, let me switch back now to my other camera. Let me get off of the mini camera here. All right, so what you have here is the very first time you had a company, sorry for the glare, guys, but it is what it is. You had a company that was able to create a sports collectible card, okay, graded a 10 from NGC, but this is actually coins as well. These are coins. So you have a few things that are happening here. Silver, gold bullion, trading card coins. First time this has been done, in my opinion, a brilliant idea. And you had variations of these as well. As you can see on my screen, let's go back to the display here. You see that this is all just silver colorway. And then you had a limited edition of these that have like this greenish triangular colors as well. And then they did the same thing with gold. They had just pure gold, no green triangles. And then you ended up having a few that were actually minted with these. So limited mintage of these. But the problem, okay, that this series had is that the dealers were initially offered these coins at like $225, I believe, to start. So you get these $225 coins, which us, the dealers, we then go and offer this to the retail customer for maybe $250. And what happened was this company, Celebrity Mint, okay, they ended up issuing these all to the wholesalers. Wholesalers issued them to the retailer, to the dealers, and then we sold them to the retail customers. What ended up happening was then the company, Celebrity Mint here, they dropped the retail price drastically on their website. So let's just, again, back up a second. And remember, I was saying to you, I think the price that maybe I got them was like at $200 or $225, something like that. Then on the retail site, the price showed up at like $150. So what happened there? You pissed off the wholesalers, you pissed off the dealers, and you pissed off the retail customers because you issued all of these products at a particularly higher price. And then after you unloaded a whole bunch at these higher prices, they were still stuck with a lot of the stock. They ended up dropping all of it on the website. Now, they're entitled to do what they want. It's their product. They could do whatever they want. The problem with that, though, is that you pissed off all the people that got in at a much higher rate. Usually what happens is when there are products and coins and things like that that are out and sold, what ends up happening is usually there's a minimum advertised price that the company that manufactured these holds that price and will not go below that, because that maintains the integrity and the value of the product. And they'll sit on the product if they have to, and they'll keep that price at a certain level. Maybe the secondary market will drop in price, but that was the first time I saw something like that firsthand, where it really kind of tanked the value of those coins. So what I want to reiterate again is there's some hidden dangers like these series that are just abruptly ending, and then something like that where the price is just dropped by the company that manufactures the product. That's very rare, but it happens. The other thing that you need to think about, a third danger, is if hype drops down in a particular series. I'll give you a specific example. Let's head on over to AppMex. Oh, and here's another series that abruptly ended. Forgive me. The Simpsons. All right. The Simpsons had this run of brilliant uncirculated coins. And I think maybe there were 7 or 8 that were released, and then they abruptly ended. So that's another example for you right there, the Simpsons coins. But I want to look at Black Flag coins here. Black Flag. This is a series that was extremely popular, and then the hype died down. And look at this. Their more recent coins, the Kingston and the Fancy, they're still available. In the past, when they were first released, what they were doing is they were releasing the coins. They were selling out so quickly that further releases, what AppMex did is they would release the coins, and then they would sell out of a batch. And then they would repost the coins at a higher rate, sell out at that level. Then they would repost the coins again, sell those at a higher price, and they would keep doing this. Essentially, they were creating this like first in type of incentive. They would create this mad rush to people to buy the coins. They would buy them. They would be all excited that they got them for a good price or whatever. And then they would release them. They would say sold out, and then they would release them again, and the price would be higher, and people would buy in, and they would keep doing it. And then they would sell out. And this would happen over the course of a day, maybe 2 days. And then as the series continued, now you could see that they're actually just sitting there, still in stock. So my guess is they might, in the future, if they do any more in this series, they might drop the mintage. down from, let's see, if we click on here, maybe it's like 10,000, 15,000. They may drop that down. So we'll see. So that's something that you need to keep a mindful eye on, is that the hype surrounding a lot of these coins can die down, and in the secondary market things could tank and you could be stuck with them. So usually as a retailer, what I'll do is a dealer, I'll get these coins and I will sell them while things are hot. Some people will ask me, hey, why don't you just hang on to the coins and sell them much later when they're worth a lot more? And that's because you got to strike when the iron's hot. Same thing happened with Marvel trading coins, Star Wars trading coins, etc. Strike when the iron is hot. Don't be greedy. Just, if you can make a profit, sell when you can, and make your profit. Okay. Fourth thing. This is major. This is affecting me right now. I'm going to probably have to abandon a series that I didn't want to abandon, and that is this Spanish doubloons wildlife series. So, just to give you an example, right here, you've got the gold links, the first in the series. What happened was the Spanish Royal Mint, they released their very first pure gold doubloon coins. And these were wildly popular. And when these came out, these reverse proof Spanish gold coins came out, people were going crazy for them. They bought the 1 ounce sizes. They bought a whole bunch of the 10th ounce sizes. And they were very popular. Fast forward to today. As many of you know, the price of gold is going up. Let's go to kitco.com. Let's see where gold is as I'm recording this video. We are seeing gold sitting at $33.20. And so the problem is that just for 1 ounce at spot, the price is $3,320. So you're going to have the refiners mark it up to, the miners, they're going to mark it up to the refiners. Refiners are going to mark it up to the mints. The mints are going to mark it up to the wholesalers. Wholesalers are going to mark it up to the dealers. Dealers are going to mark it up to the retailers. So you've got all these steps along the way. Markup, 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 markup. You do that to when gold is so expensive right now at $3,320. When it comes time to the wholesale and the retail and the dealers, the price for the 1 ounce coins are going to be astronomically high. So if we're sitting at $33.20 right now, maybe a 10% markup to me, it's going to be, what are we looking at? $3,800 maybe. And then I have to mark it up to the retail customer. It's essentially impossible for your average everyday person to shell out that much money for a collectible gold coin. So even for myself, I've collected this series, there's 4 in the series. The problem that I'm facing is that I have the 4 in the series. It went the lynx, the bull, the horse, and the eagle. The bear is coming out in June. And if gold continues to go up, the price is just going to be ridiculously high. And for me, it's hard for me to justify the price of a 1 ounce gold coin like that. Because then at that point, if I ever want to go and sell it, I have to find a collector. The collectors that can afford that type of coin and that price point, that pool is dwindling. Every time that gold goes up in price, that pool shrinks and narrows. So even for me as a dealer, where I actually have connections and I've been established for the last 6 years, it's very challenging. So this is a series that I might have to abruptly cut off for myself at 4 coins out of the 5. And so what am I going to do at that point? I'll probably end up just selling the 4 coins, because for me, I'm one of those people that like to complete a series, and just to have the 4 out of 5, it's almost pointless. The other thing too, I want to give you an example. And I just thought of this. This is like a 5th thing. All right, is that there could be long pauses and long stretches of time between a coin's release to the next one. So here's an example, and I've shown these before. This is the Gangsters series. This is the Al Capone, and again, forgive the glare. The Al Capone coin, first in the series, very, very popular. It's got that bullet hole in there. Okay, this was released in 2021. Then the next one up was Bonnie and Clyde. All right, Bonnie and Clyde. Flip this over, 2022. And then we had John Dillinger Also a really cool coin. Again, it's got that signature bullet hole down there. And this was 2022 as well. Sorry for the blur, but this is 2022. And then the series stopped. And nothing in 2023. Nothing in 2024. Finally, now to today, 2025, the most recent, the fourth final installment of the series, Lucky Luciano, is being released. So I'm excited for that, but my God, we're sitting on this series, very high price series, mind you, for years until the Mint released the next one in the series. So those are things that you need to consider when you're getting into this coin collecting world. These types of coins, again, they're not for stacking, they're for collecting and for possibly flipping in the future. But you have to always keep in mind, if you're looking to flip something, things have a window, they have a shelf life, and you got to strike when the iron is hot. So that's essentially my take on these dangers of coin collecting. Let me know in the comments below. Have you experienced anything like this as well? Have you been collecting any of the series? And if you found this video to be helpful, again, please make sure you blast that subscribe button and get that bell notification clicked, and I will see you guys on the next one.